As we know, the clocks are undoubtedly the most powerful, and at the same time, the most useful race in the entirety of the Skibidi Multiverse series. Not only would some episodes and missions be impossible to complete without them, our Titans could have also been killed by the Counter-Titan if not for the help from Daddy Clock. But did you ever wonder what would happen if the clock race were never in the series? Or rather, was replaced by a much more similar race like the computer race? How would most of the events play out? And most importantly, what would the battle against the Counter-Titan result in? For this scenario, we would replace every role played by the clocks with the computers and see whether or not they would be a fit or even a better match than the clock race. In essence, this video would not feature how they would change the story, but how many times they would perform equally, better, or terribly in all the events. And trust me, the presence of the computers would turn out to be something you never imagined. For example, we saw in episode 2 of the series when the clocks helped defeat a wave of Skibidi toilets. Now for our scenario, if all the clocks in this episode were replaced with the computers, how would it play out? Well, as for this episode, we all know that it would be very easy for the computers, as the threats in this episode were just normal base Skibidi mutants, which would be cleared out in no time by the computers. Remember, they are considered the most powerful in the Wars series, so you shouldn't expect less from them. So yeah, the computer race clears episode 2 with no difficulty, which gives them 1 win and 0 losses. However, for an episode a little bit more difficult than episode 2, we're going to be looking at episode 6. Well, there were a lot of threats that we saw in this episode, like the Magnet Titan and also the Infected Camera Titan, which were no joke at all in overall strength at that time. I mean, they were able to defeat the base Clock Titan, where his core was destroyed. But if we replace the Clock Titan with the Computer Titan, will they still be able to defeat him? Well, let's find out. The Computer Titan, as has been shown, has a variety of abilities and can create almost any weapon he thinks of. Not only that, but he can also hack in and control any electronic weapon seen, but when he is put in place of the Clock Titan in this scenario, it would turn out to be a one-sided battle. Like in the original series, the Computer Titan would face off against the Magnet Titan, Skibidi Scientist, and the Infected Camera Titan. But due to his abilities, the Computer Titan would be able to use his laser beam energy blast to one-shot the Magnet Titan. And then, the Scientist, seeing this, would know that this Titan is too much for him and would go on to retreat. Now, he would be left with the Infected Camera Titan. After a brief struggle with the infected camera, he would then go on to hack into the Camera Titan system and disinfect him, killing the Skibidi parasite internally, therefore freeing the Camera Titan. With this, the computer race clears this episode with little or no difficulty, and this gives them 2 wins and 0 losses. But do you think things are going too well for the computer race? Well, hold on, because as we progress, the episodes become harder and harder, and there were even some times where the computers had to retreat because the threats in that episode were too much for them. Now, for the next episode, we are looking at episode 20, when the Alliance fought against the SCP toilets. In this episode, we saw that the clocks had a brutal attack on their base, and Big Ben was about to be destroyed by a bomb implanted. But replacing the clocks with the computers would make a huge difference, as even the computer agents are equally strong too and possess a wide variety of abilities that would help them in the fight. We all know it took the help of the Speaker Titan to clear some of the mutants in the episode before the Drill Titan came. But in this scenario, they did not call for help from the Alliance, and instead of the Speaker Titan, the Computer Titan would arrive. Now, with this, would they be able to clear the threats in this episode? Well, the smaller computer agents would take on the Skibidi mutants and try to disable the bomb, while the Computer Titan faces off with the SCP toilets. On the agents' side, the Skibidi mutants would stand no chance, as the agents have a variety of weapons to help them win. So, the agents would, in no time, get to the bomb and eventually disable it before it goes off, thereby clearing all the mutants. But for the SCP toilets, battling with the Computer Titan is not fair, as the Computer Titan would be able to take all the cannon blasts from them casually with no damage and would eventually destroy all of them. So, episode 20 was cleared by the computers with little difficulty, and this gives them 3 wins, no loss. Now, this next episode is no joke at all, as even 2 upgraded Titans almost got destroyed by the said threat. In the episode, we are talking about episode 29, when Alpha summoned the Counter-Titan. This one is certainly crazy. In this scenario, everything would go like usual, with the exception of the fact that the computer titan would appear instead of Daddy Clock. Now, here is where it gets interesting. Can the computer titan destroy the counter titan like Daddy Clock did? Well, this is how it would play out. As the titans are already injured, damaged, and had given up hope, we would then get to see the computer titan. He would use his blasters to fire at the counter titan, which would definitely catch him off guard. And the counter titan would attack him with the weapons he has copied from the titans, like the TV Titan's sword, which I think would be able to cause damage if it lands a hit, although it doesn't get to him as he uses his own sword. We would then see a clash of swords from the two titans, but due to size and speed difference, the counter titan would be at a disadvantage. But then, when he sees that he has started losing, Alpha would command him to turn on his rage mode, which would give him an edge a little in this battle, as all his abilities have been heightened. But after rampaging in his rage mode, he would go on and attack the computer titan, which in turn would cause some damage to the computer titan. But despite all these, the computer titan would still be able to take all the attacks, and then with a slim chance, the computer titan would insert his hacking device into the counter titan's core. This would cause an uproar from the counter titan as he resists and fights internally with the computer titan. But despite all, the computer titan would be able to tame him, hack into his system, and clear his memory, making him useless to Alpha. And this would be a huge win for the Alliance, as they would now have an extra titan with them. So, the computer race clears this episode with high difficulty, which gives them 4 wins and 0 losses. But the next episode wouldn't look too good for the computer race, as in this episode, even the upgraded Clock Titan couldn't clear it and is still immobilized. I'm talking about episode 33. Now, this one is going to be a difficult one. In this episode, the 3 titans, the TV, camera, and Clock Titan, were seen in battle against 3 mutants, which were easily destroyed by the titans. But then, a bigger threat arrived, which was the Skull Astro, a very fast mutant. But before they could even think of fighting him, something even more dangerous happened. We saw multiple missiles being launched, and these missiles are no joke at all. As if these missiles could rain down on the Titans, that would be the end. But in this scenario, we would replace the Clock Titan with the Computer Titan. Now, how would it play out? Well, you see, the Clock Titan was able to escape this based on his special ability, which is the Time Stop. But since the Computer Titan doesn't possess this kind of ability, his best bet is to try to hack all the missiles at once and redirect them to another location, which I think he would not be able to do casually. So he would have to try his best to redirect some of the missiles and blast off some of them while the other Titans try to hold off the Skull Astro. Although this would take a lot of computing power, he would still manage to redirect some of them, but the rest would eventually rain on them, damaging their upgrades, leaving them injured. With this, the Computer Titan didn't clear this episode, so they have 1 loss. In total, the computer race was able to complete 4 episodes while losing 1. So, in the end, the computer race would perform just as well as the clock race, which is really cool and speaks volumes of how strong they are. However, check out this video to see what would happen if the camera titan never got infected. Unique Clockman out!